there's many types of slip and fall accidents, and I've handled people slipping on almost everything. I've handled people slipping on water, on liquid, on soda, on ice cream, on baby food, on grapes, on rice, almost every type of food you can imagine. I've even handled, and this is very unusual for somebody in Los Angeles, I actually had somebody slip on ice. The case happened in Palmdale because it ices up there every winter. By using and knowing and all these different types of slip and fall cases, I'm able to maximize the amount of monetary compensation you're going to receive for your slip and fall case. Let me explain to you the difference between a premises liability case and a slip and fall case. Premises liability, that's the broad category. Any type of injury when you're on a piece of land, in a building, on an elevator, that's a premises liability. But then underneath premises liability, there are subcategories of various types of accidents. There's slip and fall accidents. There's trip and fall accidents. Accidents on elevators, accidents on escalators. I've had situations where ceilings have fallen on people. I've had situations where people have fallen through floors. All these are premises liability cases. I've handled hundreds of these cases, and they do have a certain degree of difficulty. A slip and fall case is not like an automobile rear-ender. You know, somebody rear-ends you, they're at fault. But in a slip and fall and premises liability case, you have to prove two things. Number one, that there was a dangerous condition, that you slipped on a dangerous or tripped on a dangerous condition. Water on the floor, an uneven sidewalk, maybe a rug was torn and you slipped and tripped on that situation. The second thing you have to prove, and this is the more difficult thing, and that's where my expertise comes in, is that you have to prove that the landowner knew or should have known of the dangerous condition. Now that's where the legal fight really is joined, because when the liquid is on the floor, see if somebody just drops liquid and then somebody comes along immediately thereafter, a couple of seconds later, and falls, the landowner is not going to be responsible. However, if that liquid was on the floor for a half hour or an hour, the question is, well, why didn't the landowner do some sort of inspection to make sure they saw the liquid on the floor? So that's where you have to get the right evidence. And that's where you have to do something we call discovery and take depositions, send written questions. And that's where my expertise comes in. And through my expertise and asking the right questions and keep on pushing and pushing the other side, I'll be able to get for you the maximum monetary compensation for your injuries and your losses and harms. First, I go down to the scene myself. And that it's amazing when you go down to the scene what you see. Because you can just say, oh, you know, a slip and fall happened. When you go down to the scene, it's amazing what you can pick up. Two, I bring in this accident reconstruction experts. These are engineers, licensed engineers, and they can explain how the slip and fall occurred. They can run certain types of tests, coefficient of friction test. That's a fancy term, because certain types of floor surfaces are slippery, and particularly when they get wet. And then we bring in medical experts, and these medical experts can help determine and explain what's wrong with you. We use all these experts to once again help effectuate maximum monetary compensation for your harms and losses.